Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you consciously tuned into Eye on Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Now, notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy. The ambassador of joy, and you're going to hear lots of joyful information and uplift today when we bring on Justin in just a couple of minutes. Now, I must tell you, I am privileged to speak with millions of people every month through my podcast, I in Las Vegas, and the joy of living. And you're always telling your family and friends about it. And we urge you to share this with 5 people. You want to share it with 50 or 100, it's up to you. Right now we have over 520,000 people that tune in every week. You share with 5 people, touch 2.5 million. And again, just invite your family and friends because, you know, in this show, it's all about energy and innovative ideas and things that are happening in the world that are positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. I want to make mention of something. Whenever I tell people, I on Las Vegas, they listen in and they lean in and they open their eyes because I use those 2 words that everybody in the world knows, Las Vegas. Here's a data point that you should know. It's amazing. Take the entire population of New York City and all the people around it. Take the entire population of Chicago and all the people around it. Take the entire population of Los Angeles and all the people around it. The entire population of Florida, add it all together, doesn't equal the number of people that come to Las Vegas in a given year. 41 million people come here because this is the place of high energy, of enthusiasm, expectation. Yeah, there's gambling, there's sex, all kinds of stuff. It's really about innovative ideas. And there's nobody that I want to share with you right now that I think is more innovative and creative and bringing goodness to the world than wonderful, fabulous Justin. Justin, please say hello to 519,821 people around the world.
Hey, everyone. I'm Justin. Barry, thanks for having me on. And I love your energy. I'm hoping some of it rubs off on me.
Well, it's yours for free, kid. We share it willingly because that's the genius of living life to the full, which is what you're doing, by the way. So I'm just going to give you 3 little data points about Justin. Those of you who are listening won't be able to have the benefit of seeing him. He's a young man. He's 24 years on this earth. He wanted to make something happen. He was a college student until recently, and he went to a great school called Cornell. However, Cornell is a very woke place in the sense that I use it in the real idea. It really is a place where people are fast asleep because they're not willing to wake up to ideas. However, they're entrenched in negativity. Justin's been able to break through that and to use an idea that he had of what he can do to help. There's a war raging right now in the country called Israel. However, it's really not the country of Israel where the war is raging. It's a war that's raging against Western civilization. Israel is the tip of the spear, and we want to make sure that it succeeds. The other thing is, if anybody knows anything about what's happening in the war in Israel, there is a shift in the use of, how should we say, innovative ideas that has never happened in the history of the world. And nobody believed it possible. Imagine somebody shoots a bullet into the air or an arrow, and you can now shoot it down. Well, that's what the Iron Dome does. It allows protection of a civilian population by shooting down missiles and other malign objects that are being pointed at Israel to hurt, kill, maim, do anything to the civilian population. The Iron Dome is a protective shield. So Justin knows 3 things, and this was given over by Dennis Prager, a mentor of mine and a dear friend. And I'm happy to say he identified 3 kinds of people who support the fight for goodness in the world. And there are people who don't support the fight for goodness. And then there are people in the middle who support the fighters for goodness, because not everybody can be a fighter. Justin picked up the gauntlet, and he's a supporter and helping people support the fighters with his amazing idea called Iron Dome Coffee. Okay, you got our attention, Justin. It's up to you now. Take it away. What the heck is Iron Dome Coffee, and why should anybody care?
Thank you, Barry, for that great introduction. So Iron Dome Coffee is a coffee company. We sell ground coffee, whole beans, and Keurig pods, all online at our website, irondomecoffee.com. It's delicious coffee from Brazil. We roast it in the United States. Our packaging comes from Israel. And the best part, aside from just having a delicious cup of coffee, is that 18% of our proceeds go to wounded soldiers in the IDF through various organizations, including Belev Echad, Heroes to Heroes, and Magen David Adom. So it's really coffee with a cause. It's a brand that's supposed to bring meaning to your mornings. Every single time that you put a Keurig pod into the machine or that you brew your morning cup of coffee, you know that you're supporting Israel directly. And I think it's been an incredible success so far, and it's really been a beautiful mission. I'm so glad that it's grown after only 6 months. We launched in March. And it's been really an incredible ride so far.
So let's unpack a few things, because we have a worldwide audience, people from Pakistan and Bangladesh, Nepal, Congo, South Africa, all over Latin America and the United States of America. So at the moment, Iron Dome Coffee is only available in the United States, I believe. Is that correct?
For now, we're actually working on international shipping through Amazon.
Okay,
We just launched on Amazon.
States. Right now, the United States. And I like what Justin said. It's coffee with a cause, or coffee for a cause. And I want to emphasize that the proceeds, 18% of the profits, are going primarily to soldiers that are injured, soldiers that need help, the spouses of soldiers that need help. In other words, it's not to support, in quotation marks, the fighting machine. What it's really doing is supporting the people who have fought, who really need a lot of help. And the best way you can help, you can, of course, just send money. That's a wonderful thing. Why not do it with something that you enjoy? I mean, the ability for having a cup of great coffee. Just think of everybody that was drinking Starbucks donated, pick a number, 25 cents. Well, we'd raise tens of millions of dollars, because a lot of them. Well, Justin says we can do the same thing with equally good or even better product, the coffee, and be dedicated to the cause. So I want to ask you, Justin, you're a college graduate. When did you have the idea? And what did you do to bring the idea from the idea stage into reality? Take us on the journey, please.
Sure. So I graduated college in 2023, and then I went to work in the corporate world. It really wasn't for me, especially after October 7th happened. Every single second of every day, my mind was elsewhere, right? I'm an Israeli American. My dad, was born and raised near Haifa. And I'm very proud of my Israeli roots and my heritage. It's something that I carry with me everywhere I go. And seeing what happened after October 7th and just the backlash, especially in a place like New York City, was heartbreaking to me. How could the world turn on Israel and on the Jewish people in the blink of an eye? That type of thing I thought was reserved for the history books. I thought we had moved past that. I think the most unfortunate thing that we've learned as a society is that Jew hatred is still very alive and well, and it's being masked under this guise of anti-Zionism. And seeing that, I felt such a discomfort every single day, feeling like I live in a place, and I still do, I live here, where I think that's very normal and accepted. So what did I do? I figured, hey, I want to do two things. One, I want to learn how to be an entrepreneur in this world. I've always had a bit of an entrepreneurial kick to me. I like to break the mold. I want to do something meaningful and impactful in this world. But I also want to support Israel. I do view the people there as my brothers and sisters. I am in the process of becoming a citizen. Like, this is a very important part of my life. It's an important part of my identity. And it's not something I'm willing to compromise about. I think what's happening in Israel is horrible, especially after October 7th. People are so quick to be, ridicule every supporter of Israel and just throw them in the trash. And I want to be a part of the fight against that, especially in America. I figured, who better than me to bridge the gap between Israel and America than an Israeli American who's got, family on both sides. So the coffee space, from a more particular and entrepreneurial sense, is very rapidly changing, because people are throwing away their cups of Starbucks and Dunkin' in favor of something that speaks to them on a more personal level, right? So companies.
Okay, let's unpack that. Let's put you on pause for a moment, because the obvious question seems to arise, the opposite of what you just said. coffee space, hello, it seems to be dominated by at least two major names and maybe 20 others that people can name. The two major ones, of course, as you said, Starbucks and Dunkin'. That's two of the gigantic ones. By the same token, you have smaller players that are very large. What is it, Pete's and I'm blanking out at the moment, but however, there are big names that are regional. So the coffee space seems to be the least likely place for an entrepreneur to get involved unless you have, big money or sharp elbows. So I don't think you came in with big money. Maybe you have sharp elbows, but maybe you came in with a different position, and that's key in business, positioning. And you said coffee with a cause. So first of all, have you found any other brands that have their own cause? I mean, are there coffees for Armenians? Are there coffees for, people from Nigeria? Are you unique in the marketplace?
So yeah, just to touch on a couple of points there. Yes, there are so many different big coffee brands, but they are losing market share by the day. Why? Because people want to switch to a product that speaks to them personally. And this isn't just true in coffee. This is true in really every space you can imagine, especially with this growth of social media over the last couple of years and the social media marketplaces, be it Facebook or TikTok or really anything in that world. Everybody scrolls on social media. So that market is, in my opinion, the biggest market in the world. And so many of these companies like mine, for example, to answer that second part, are building these coffee with a cause models to the point where there's basically a brand of coffee that's tied to every single cause you can imagine. And you know what? They're doing well. Why? Because this is what people want nowadays. And I figured, okay, there isn't really anybody in this space that's standing up for Israel. And the quick answer why is because, it's a scary time to be supporting Israel in public. And I needed to really ask myself, is this something that I want to do? And when I figured, I want my life to mean something, and this might be my way how to do it. So I figured, hey, I'm willing to deal with the incredible amount of backlash, which I do receive on a daily basis. And I really believe that I'm doing something that's positive for Israel and positive for the world.
So let's talk about the P word. Actually, 4 P words: positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Because that's really what your coffee is about, coffee with a cause. It touches all 4 of those aspects. And the name Iron Dome, rather than calling it Help Israel Coffee or Help the Soldiers Coffee or Support the Fallen or whatever, the wounded, you came up with Iron Dome. So it seems obvious after the fact. It wasn't while you were doing it. So what prompted you to select Iron Dome? I mean, it turns out to be, it's a great name, right? Iron Dome. And I think that most anybody who is an observer of the conflict knows what the Iron Dome is. I would like you to, first of all, speak about what is the Iron Dome from your perspective as a 24-year-old, and how you decided to use that as the brand name.
Sure. So from a technical point of view, right, the Iron Dome is a missile defense system that shoots down rockets as they enter Israel from enemy forces, right? But from a more, poetic point of view, I think that the Iron Dome is the symbol of freedom for Israelis. You can't imagine where Israel would be without the Iron Dome. We just watched Iran in the 12-day war launch over 3,000 missiles and rockets into Israel. Where would Israel be if they didn't have a system to take those rockets down? It's really an incredible thing to think about. You can make the case that Israel would be in a whole lot of trouble without the Iron Dome, and I think that'd be a pretty good case, right? So when I was thinking of what name to give to this company, I think that it would be perfect and super appropriate to give the name of this coffee company the symbol of freedom in the pro-Israel community.
Okay, let me put you on pause for that moment. Did you hear what he just said? The symbol of freedom, because that's what America's all about. Now, we have sponsors that love our show. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time and attention. And we'll be right back with more Justin, more Iron Dome coffee. Oh, I can smell it brewing right now, right after this message. Don't go away. Good day. Beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking, because I was looking for and finding the good. We found good in abundance. His name is Justin Yehuda, and our cup runneth over with good. He's talking about the ultimate goodness, which is saving lives through technology. And I want to emphasize again something here that is truly the power of the system, of the country, the people called Israel. Everything about the country and about the people is dedicated toward enhancing life for everybody. They would want coexistence. They do want to live in the area with all other countries and all other peoples in peace. Unfortunately, there is a radical element in the world called radical Islamists that not only do not want that, but will do anything they can, including killing other people, to avoid making that happen. The genius of what's happened with Israel as a technological society is that it was forced to create an idea that never could have existed in the world. And at the time when one of the inventors of the Iron Dome proposed it, everybody in Israel, the military and all the scientists, rejected it and said, not possible. You cannot shoot down a missile that is traveling 1,200 miles an hour out of the sky. Come on, get with it. Well, it is with it. Not only did he proceed and prove it in theory, he proved it in practice. And as Justin just pointed out before we went to the break, in one night, this malign regime called Iran sent thousands of missiles intent upon killing people. And they were protected by the Iron Dome. And by the way, that shoots down rockets. You have to use a rocket to shoot a rocket. There's now something called the Iron Beam, which uses lasers to shoot down rockets. Again, the beauty of this is that it's about defense, not offense. So what I'd like to have you do, Justin, is go deeper into what is happening with sales of the coffee and who's been helping you. I came to you because of our mutual friend, Hillel Fuld, F-U-L-D, who's a tremendously gifted tech person and a great influencer in the world for goodness. And what is really happening in terms of the company so that you can continue to grow? And what I mean grow is not just in sales, but in donations. So tell us what's happening, where your strategy is, and what the road to greater success looks like.
Absolutely. So thankfully, we have an amazing product, and that's not something that happens by accident. It took a lot of careful consideration as to how we wanted our coffee to taste. So that's the very first thing. If you're selling a product that isn't, they're not going to make it a part of their life, and they're not going to really, join this movement that I'm trying to build. Right. So I think that in a big way, it starts there. It starts with the product. And thankfully, so many people who agree with our cause already, because that's how, they find us. They agree with supporting Israel. These are people who are willing to give us a shot. And thankfully, the coffee is really delicious and people are staying at a rate that's much higher than competitors. So I think there's so much hope as I go into the future because, there's proof of concept. People really like this cup of coffee and it stands for something that speaks to them.
So
at that level,
let's that and say, because we're talking here now entrepreneurial, and I want people around the world, because people tune in to in Las Vegas because they love the whole idea of energy and innovation. That's what Las Vegas is really about. People think it has to do with gambling and sex. Okay, that's a part. It's really about the energy what happens here in Las Vegas. We don't have state sales tax. State income tax. And it's a place where companies are welcome. Now, Justin is now headquartered here in Nevada, but I urge him to be here because I want people to understand the entrepreneurial spirit is what's driving Justin. As he said, you need to make sure that your product is solid. Number two, people who try it, you say you have a high retention rate. Well, that's great because if somebody buys something once, okay, that's an event. They buy it twice, already you got something. You buy it 3 times, now you have potentially a raving fan, which is really what you want because those raving fans bring others. So is that happening for you?
Absolutely. In incredible numbers. And truthfully, it just means the world because there's just so much potential for this company. And it all has to do with people loving the coffee and loving the cause.
Okay, so let's take a look at you Justin, as a 24-year-old, I don't think you grew up in the coffee business. So how did you
No.
how did you connect? Did you go and search online, say Brazilian coffee, let me talk to an exporter, and click and call and do something? What was the process that enabled you to connect and get the right price for the right product and deliver the right way?
Yeah, so I feel like I grew up in a coffee house, whether I was doing work or something creative. I do feel like that's always my, safe place is just in a coffee house. So I've always had, a good idea of what makes a good cup of coffee and what doesn't. So when I was looking to start this company, there are a number of, kosher exporters, because obviously my coffee needed to be kosher. It's Star K kosher. And that's a very important thing to me. And I tried so many cups of coffee from so many different countries. You can't imagine. I eventually hired a taster to really be able to say, okay, from a professional level, what is actually good. And even in moments where I was trying like 15 to 20 different coffee cups in the same hour, you can't imagine how caffeinated I was just sitting there and saying, it's for the company, it's for the company, a company that was months away from becoming, born. So I think it's just an incredibly fun ride that it's been. And eventually we landed on delicious coffee from Brazil. And it's really just stood up to the test of
Okay,
time.
I want to ask a question because you're intriguing me. I must tell you, Justin, I could almost assume it, but until I heard it, I didn't. So in the wine business, obviously, maybe not obviously, but there are professional wine tasters who
Yeah.
know how to distinguish. So in the coffee business, you're saying there are professional coffee tasters.
So I guess so. I wouldn't say that I found this person online or anything, but there were a few people at plenty of coffee places that I usually work out of in New York City that have done this gig before. And I figured, hey, like let me see what you got. And they were able to explain the different notes. And there's a very technical level to coffee, the same way there is with wine. And when it comes to the future of your business, I figured I landed on a cup that I liked, but I wanted someone who was a little bit more credible to confirm that for me. And I think that's important whenever you take a risk on something. You want to feel good about what you are pretty much staking your career and possibly even your life on. So yeah, that's an important thing.
Okay, this is so wonderful. Again, we are focusing now on Justin, the entrepreneur, because one of the things that we love doing on Eye on Las Vegas, 85%, maybe 88% of all our people listening are under the age of 35. You're 24. We have just so many people, hundreds of thousands of people that are in their 20s, and they're all thinking like Americans. They may not live in America. They may live in a very constricted society. Everybody wants an American mindset, which is, I can do something. I have an idea. I want to make this product, this service, etc. You can. That's the genius of America. That's the genius of the American mindset. And that's the reason I asked Justin to be on the show. So I wanted to share what this means. You don't need so much money. What you need really is a desire, an idea, the willingness to invest your time and energy and go forth and make it. You have to really want it. You're wanting it as the most professional athletes, and I've been privileged to interview some of the most talented, famous athletes in the world. I asked them, how is it they always succeeded? Or not always, but that they succeeded. He said, I wanted it more than the other guy or girl.
Sure.
And is that true for you, Justin? You want this to happen?
Yes, but I would take it in a bit of a different direction. There is an element to me that completely resembles the game of chess. And as much as you want it, I think the key even to a game like that, a game that I play at a high level, even here in New York City, it's probably my biggest hobby these days, is that there's a degree of playing this game that requires you to calm down and to level yourself and to make the best move on the board in perpetuity. At every single point in this game, every single move can be the winning move or the losing move. Definitely, the losing move more times than not in the game and in real life. And I think that that's really the perspective that I come with, is as much as I want it. And I really am, a strong-willed person. I will say that. But I think an even bigger component of it is that I want to learn how to play chess in the digital advertising and e-com space. And after 6 months, I feel like I have a good understanding of basic strategies. And I can only hope that as time goes on, I'll be able to play this game at a master level. And that's really my goal in general.
Well, I'll share with you something in the world of business, and I, thank God, happy to say, built several companies that we sold to public companies, serial entrepreneur. The ability to attract others to what it is you're doing is the most beneficial strategy of all. There are two ways to do things in life. People think you got to go out and you hustle and you get and you grow and this, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, nothing wrong with that if you want to pursue that. The greater level, the one where the people who make all the real big money and the big changes and the goodness in the world, is to attract those facets, those aspects of life for people who want to work with you. And if you keep doing what you're doing, Justin, you're going to do that. The law of attraction is the most powerful, positive, purposeful, pleasant way to grow an enterprise. Now, we only have a couple of minutes. I'm going to ask you the seemingly obvious question. You ready? Line extension.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in coffee now. Are you going to go to tea? Are you going to do mugs? You're going to do T-shirts, and et cetera, et cetera?
We've got mugs and T-shirts, and they sell. People love the merchandise actually because our logo is, it's a Magen David with a star over it, kind of like the Iron Dome protected, like a shield over it rather. So people love that. I would love to branch out into tea and hot chocolate. That's really the next step for me. When I'm going to take that step, it's to be determined. But I do want to say one thing that I think is very important, Barry, and I feel like your audience might appreciate it very much. I think the most important part of growing a company in today's day and age in a modern way is you have to be willing to look stupid in front of everyone. And when I put my face out there and my enthusiasm comes through the screen, a lot of people love it, but a lot of people criticize you. And I think the most important message, the one thing that I would love to tell everybody, is that if you really want to become a good dancer, you got to learn how to fall down and look stupid in the beginning. And that's what I'm going to try and do as I go forward.
Well, this is part of the reason why, again, I asked you to be here. Justin is all of 24 years old. He's charming. He's delightful. Okay, he's smart. He wants to do something of benefit in the world. And when that becomes your driver, then you have a foundation from which to build. It's a solid foundation. And you're right, you're going to fall down. We have a very famous line in Proverbs that the righteous person falls 7 times and gets up. Doesn't not that he or she falls 7 times. He gets up every single time. That is wisdom literature. It's been in the family, the Jewish family, for thousands of years. And it's true for all of humanity. Justin, and such a pleasure. I'm loath to say the words I'm about to say to you. We're coming to a close in our time together. I have 3 quick questions for you. You ready?
Sure.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Would love to.
Okay, great. Thank you. Number 2, Justin Yehuda, you have only 80 seconds to answer this question. What is your most fervent desire?
What is my you said that in a funny way.
What is my most fervent desire?
Yeah. No, the truth is I would like to, become a master at my craft and to improve the world while doing that. I think those, the people that I look up to have figured out how to achieve a balance between becoming a master at something and being able to change the world in a positive way while doing that. Not only do I believe that that's the, righteous way to live, so to speak, but I believe it's the most personally fulfilling way to live. And I learned that from so many different paths, be it from Judaism. I went to Solomon Schechter and I learned just the right values from a young age, and Stoicism, philosophical, learning. I think there's so much to be gained in mastering your craft, at putting your all into something and to making the world a better place along the way. I think it's just one of the right ways to live your life. And that's my most fervent desire. That's what I would say.
Thank you. And now, number 3, Justin, may I give you a hug in front of 521,917 people around the world?
Please do. Please do.
Say what that stands for. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have 2 things before we let you go, Justin. I have an acronym for your name, and then we're going to give a blessing to everybody that's listening. You ready for the acronym?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Name is Justin, Justin. Ready? Here we go. Joy unleashes successful transformation, inspiring nobility.
That's awesome. That's great. I got to print that out.
I got that from you. And
That's
again,
awesome.
this show, as wonderful as Justin is, it's not about him. And as great as Barry is, not about me. This show is about you. Y-O-U. You being the best you possible. That's why you tuned in. Remember, share this with 5 people, and it's just going to touch millions. So our blessing from Justin and Barry is go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Justin, don't say no.